Time for a quick video about the grid. Some of this may be review for some of you may need it. I've got my vintage 1975 drums loaded, and I've created a 1-bar MIDI item to just take a look at the way the grid works. I'm going to double click it. Now I've got my piano roll editor, and you can see that I've got the grid down here. Right now it's set to 1, which actually means 1 full bar. So, and the notes are set to grid. That means when I double click here, I'm going to get a note that lasts a full bar. Right? Double click. Now, it's important to note that this magnet tool is selected. What that means is that no matter where I click, it's going to snap to the grid, which is now a full bar, right? So now if I were to make this a half a bar, first we can make this go away by double clicking it. Now if I click here, it's going to go there. But if I click here, it's going to go there, right? So the grid can determine where notes are going to go. The notes themselves right here are set to the grid, right? The notes are set to the grid, but I could change that. My grid could be set to half note, and I could make my notes 1/8 notes, right? So now I'm going to click, and it's going to go just an 1/8 note. Doesn't matter where I click, that's what I'm going to get. So these are some basic tools. We also have seen that we can toggle between triplet, dotted, and swing. And same with the actual notes. I tend to leave my notes set to grid, but there are occasions where I might want to do something a little different. I tend to leave my magnet on, snap to grid. If it's off, right, and imagine that I've got an 1/8 note grid here, and we can see all my grid lines. If it's off, then if I'm sloppy, I'm not going to be on the beat, right? So there are times when you want things to be a little bit off the grid, but as a rule, I would keep the magnet on. That's Option S, pre-programmed command. And another thing I'll show you is that you can use your action list to program in some shortcuts for moving the grid around. So I'm going to hit the question mark, loads my action list, and I'm just going to type grid, and notice this is the action list for the MIDI editor. I'm going to hit grid, and I'm not going to worry about edit right now. I'm just going to look at things I can do, and you'll see I've pre-programmed some shortcuts, which you can do too. So I made option left bracket, this is a square bracket, multiply the grid size by half, and option right bracket multiplies the grid size by 2, right? So it gets bigger with option right bracket and goes by half with option left. I've set some parameters to set the grid type to straight, which is Control 3. You see 3 is preset now to set grid type to triplet. Control S sets the grid type to swing. So it's going to take a little while, once you program those to get used to. But you can see here that with one button, watch my grid, triplet, and if I hit Control 3, we go back. And now I'm going to use my brackets with option, and you can see I can just quickly do that without needing to click. So that's very nice. Anytime you don't need to use your mouse, you're saving yourself some time. So now, let's say I go to 16th notes, and I'm going to paint some notes along the grid. So to paint, I'm going to use Option and Command, and there's my brush. And that's what painting is. I'll paint notes along the grid. And now for the next one, let's move to 1/8 note grid. Let's hit 3, and that's triplets. And now you see I've got my triplet grid going. And I'll continue painting. And now I can go to, let's move to a 16th note. So now we're going to see 16th note triplets. Let's go here, just paint a little bit more. And let's go back to, oh, I clicked. I didn't need to. Let's go back to straight. So I'm going to hit Control 3 for straight. And I'm going to move back to 16th by toggling there. And I'm going to push my paint button down and do something like this. Right, so now we've got, and now if I want to put these dynamics, let's make the first one big. And then I'm going to hold Command and drag. And now I can kind of make ramp-like shape. I could have a one long ramp, should be all the way up. Let's see if I select all of this. I should be able to do that. It's not working quite the way I want it to now, but that's okay. And now we can hear what that sounds like. Right, that's kind of cool. I can move these to just these by right-clicking, select them, move them up to my snare, and I'm going to just drag like these up, move this one here, and now we've got something like this. Cool. Now I want to show you one last thing about the grid, which I think is cool, is what if I wanted a quintuplet for these last beats? I can have that, and the way I can do that is I can type in 1/20th. Now think about what that means. That means I'm dividing a 4/4 bar into 20 pieces, which means each of the 4 beats is going to be divided into 5 pieces. And I want you to notice that when I do that, it doesn't change the notes that are already there. There's another way I can do that, and I demonstrated that in the swing video, and we can look at that again. So for now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to erase these notes. Right now that my grid is at the quintuplet, and I'm going to paint in notes right there. And I'm going to work on my curve here. Maybe I'll go all the way up, something like that. And now we've got this. So that's pretty cool. I really love those odd divisions, especially, in a drum track. But mastering, understanding the way the grid works and the way that you can affect different effects, and also different rhythmic effects, and also being able to kind of toggle through. And look, when I'm at 1/20th, now I've got these very odd options available. Let's go back to 1/8 normal, right? Because whatever your grid is, it's just going to double it or half it. So now we're going half. We can go to triplet. We can go to straight. And we can go to swing or back to straight, right? So being able to move around quickly is going to engender a kind of writing where you move between these subdivisions and don't find yourself trapped in just one. Hope that helps.